What's up, you guys? Chet Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all with another vlog here in the state of Florida. And today, you guys, this is actually going to be a part 2 video. Yes, if you all don't remember last video, I went to a few of the Leonard Skinner locations here in Jacksonville. I went to the Van Zant brothers' childhood home. I also went to their graves over at Jacksonville Memorial Gardens and the high school where Coach Leonard Skinner taught. Well, today, guys, we're going to be visiting a few other locations, a lot which are actually quite special, quite in a way hallowed ground. So, you guys, without further ado, we are going to take another adventure to search for the hallowed grounds. Well, I should say rock hallowed grounds, southern rock hallowed grounds here in Jacksonville. So, time to anchor down. Alright, you guys, I was very fortunate enough to get in here. You see, this property right here in this new housing development, this is where Leonard Skinner's infamous hell house once stood. Yes, it was in this spot. You see, Ronnie and the boys in the city limits of Jacksonville, for them, they got chased out. They needed a place to practice, and they had to go very far south. Well, I shouldn't say that much further, to Green Cove Springs. And anyway, it was in this little barn, no AC, the hot, intense Florida heat. These gentlemen had to practice. Sometimes they would practice on into the later hours of the night. And Ronnie, working a first job, it was hard on him, but he pulled it off. And for their first 3 records, this is where they practiced. I remember reading some articles on the outside on the main road. They had bouncers waiting outside so nobody could get in, or I should say their inner circle. But the hell house is not the reason why we are here, but rather this dock. You see, this dock right here, old, little bit of moss. Granted, this is the second dock. The old dock, the one that I'm really referring to, is built up beneath it. But Ronnie would often fish from this dock right here. While some of the boys were done practicing, even their boss of security, even if he didn't need to be here, he would come out here and he would fish. And as this housing development only continues, I hate that this will probably end up being lost. And I will again say, I was very fortunate. The front gates, this is a gated community. I do not recommend coming out here like this. This is how I was able, well, the front gate was open, looks like they were working on it. But I just had to see this last piece, almost forgotten piece of rock history. It's almost sad, really. All right, now that was very interesting. Now, there is another very cool thing that is not far from the original location of Hell House. And it is along this train track right here. You see, down this railroad track that we are walking on right now is where the boys, the Leonard Skinner brothers, the band, did one of their photo shoots. Forgot which album it was. Probably in the video you'll see the actual name, because I can't really think of it off the top of my head. But it is right down this railroad track right here, and literally it is, well, quite frankly, it's not even like 2 minutes away from the dock. All right, after doing a little bit of walking, this is what I'm talking about. It is this bridge right here, this crossing, that a few years back in the 1970s, these legends once stood here. Gotta think what these kind of tracks must have told. Very ominous and sad for what would later happen. Very sad day, October 20th, 1977. And now that we have seen that, we're gonna go and we're gonna see a few more sights. I feel like the last video I made was really awesome. I saw a lot of the original stomping grounds of the famed Leonard Skinner. So we're going to go to a few other locations today. We're going to go to the, well, you know what? I think I'm just going to save that for you guys, and I'll show you. Let's do it. And that cool thing you all are probably wondering about is the Jug Saloon. Y'all see, if anyone has ever heard of Gimme 3 Steps by Leonard Skinner, well, the idea for the song came from this bar right here. You see, the story goes that Ronnie, he had himself a fake ID. He was really 18 years old when he entered these doors. And as he entered these doors, he met a woman by the name of Linda Lou. He danced with Linda. But he also met her boyfriend. Yes, in an angry, violent tone, her boyfriend threatened to kill Ronnie. Well, Ronnie, as the song implies, he ran out of the bar in 3 steps. That is where the idea for this song comes from. Yes, and it's literally a little bar just on the side of the road, which is absolutely fascinating. And from what I have heard that Leonard Skinner, or I should say the second incarnation, does occasionally play here, which is very interesting because it's literally the most unassuming place. Very interesting though. But now you guys, we are going to go to another stop. Another place where Ronnie Van Zant got a lot of inspiration from another very well-known Leonard Skinner song. And quite literally, it is just down the road. So, without further ado, let me show you guys. And it brings us to this convenience store right here. Or maybe not so much this store, because you see, This is actually the second incarnation. You see, not far from the Van Zandt home, there was a convenience store. In this convenience store, Gene Odom, Ronnie Van Zandt's childhood friend, and at one time, well, his main bodyguard, I like to call him his right-hand man, he would go to the Van Zandt home, pull out bottles from their, well, receptacles, well, their recycle boxes. He would take the bottles down. Well, not this shop, but the original. And he would, well, sell them off. Now, Curtis Lowe, he was a man that worked. I believe it was his shop. Anyway, he was an older white fellow. And as I've heard from stories from Greg Odom, well, Gene Odom, he, what he would do, well, the story goes is that Curtis Lowe was not black. He was actually white. But Ronnie changed that story because, well, it wouldn't really fit the story. But this is the second incarnation of that building. The other one got torn down, sadly, but overall, that they moved it down the road. Well, but anyway, let's make a pilgrimage to one more stop, a very sacred stop. So let's do it. All right, you guys, we are here to pay our respects. In the previous video I made, I did talk a little bit about why they had to move Ronnie's body, mainly because people were breaking into his crypt, desecrating his body, and, well, for a very long time, I think it was about 6 months, nobody would publicize or tell where Ronnie was reburied. But this is where he was buried. It was here where Ronnie was reburied. And as you can see, somebody did leave a little bit of whiskey for him. I bet he's looking down from heaven right now going, heck yeah. But I'm going to pay my respects. Leave a little bit of a memoriam there. But this is his family. The people who raised a mastermind, a genius, the leader of LYNYRD SKYNYRD. Now, sadly, he passed in a way, well, that's just sad. I'm not really going to get into that much. And now a really cool thing is actually Leon Russell Wilkinson. He is not buried that far. He's like literally like right across the street. Now, like I did with Ronnie, I'll leave a memento right there, just to pay my due respects. And it does look like they took out the fountain. And we have one more member of the band, and that is Billy Powell. Now, Billy, I honestly do like his story because originally he was a roadie for the bass player of the band, and anyway, he showed them what he could do for Freebird, and well, Ronnie said, "You're in the band." I mean, I just love, honestly, I just love that story. Now, sadly, he passed away back in '09, but sir, you were grand. You were grand, sir. All right, you guys, I have something very, very special for you all. I know I've been driving around, I've been showing you all the graves of these great rock and roll heroes, and I've been paying my respects. But there is one more grave I want to show you guys. Because of this man and his name, we got one of the greatest rock and roll bands in the entire world. And that is Leonard Skinner, the coach who the boys named their band after. If y'all didn't keep up in my last video, Coach Skinner, he often liked to enforce the dress code over at Robert E. Lee High School, and he even sent our young Ronnie to the principal's office because of his long hair. Well, this is his grave, everyone, and I'm going to pay my respects and leave him a little memento as well. You gotta think how stories become stories. And there's actually another interesting story about Coach Skinner. You see, the band Leonard Skinner, they did use, well, to go back, Coach Leonard Skinner, he did do some realty, and Leonard Skinner, they actually did use his advertising sign as one of their album covers. And in one interview, Coach Skinner talked about like how as soon as that album came out, he got a bunch of phone calls. And he said it was nice, except for the ones that came at 4 a.m. in the morning. But that is Coach Skinner's headstone. And, well, if you all want to pay your respects, the lot in question is The Last Supper 19J. But for more reference, here's the sign to look for, and it is right beside a mausoleum. Now, the one grave I could not find that I wanted to pay my respects to was Allen Collins. You see, Allen Collins was the sound of Leonard Skinner. And really, it was he and Ronnie that it was a group venture that started the band. Now, sadly, I will say Allen had probably the saddest history. You see, here, you know, it started with the plane crash in 1977. He lost one of his close friends. And then, one sad day, while things were looking up, he had a solo album that was going to do very well. It looked like it was going to top records and charts. But his wife, well, she passed away due to a miscarriage. And I won't get into that because that is just the saddest story that I think I have ever heard. But not long after that, he went to drinking. He basically lost it, and he got into a bad car accident, completely ruined his career. The record company didn't want him, but he did speak about drunk driving, and honestly, it's just really sad, really sad, and I wanted to pay my respects to him. But this is going to be my vlog, you guys. This was my part 2 of Leonard Skinner filming, well, the Leonard Skinner locations, grave sites, song inspirations, just some amazing Jacksonville history that is so well hidden. So you guys, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. It'll keep you in the loop on daily content of my life here in the state of Florida. And remember, stay posted, stay tuned, anchor down, and stay posted for new content. Love you all very much. Vlog over.